It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, I had a dealer reach out to me, and I thought, man, this is going to be a great end of the day with Ray. Folks, keep in mind, if you tell me something that I think would make a great end of the day with Ray, I'm never going to tell the audience who that dealer was, unless, of course, you let me do that. Because sometimes some of these stories and conversations I have, they make some great, they make some great end of the days with Ray. Anyway, this dealer said to me, Ray, I'm just kind of wondering, we're going to get into IT services, and I want to do some marketing, and I'm just wondering what's the best way to tell my customers that I'm in IT services. And I said, well, the first thing you got to do is you actually have to get into IT services before you start telling people that you're in IT services. Folks, quit advertising that you're going to do something. Nobody gives a shit when you're going to do something. What they care about is you're actually doing it. So don't worry about telling everybody that IT services coming soon. It's not like a movie. You're not going to have a curtain open up on your website and say, oh, here's the show. It's a process. And the first thing you got to do is you got to get yourself in position to sell IT services. And just because you're a copier dealer doing really well doesn't mean you're in position to sell IT services. That just means you're in position to sell print, its supplies, and its services. Getting in position to sell IT services is a whole different game. You got to bring in the right people to help you. You got to listen to the experts. But here's what I want to suggest to everybody in the Document Image channel, because now's the time, folks. There's never been a better time. Actually, there was a better time 11 months ago when this pandemic started, and I'm hoping some of y'all did these things. But if you didn't, you got to do it now, because this virus is about over with. And once it's over with, guess what? We can go out into the market, we're going to shake shit up, we're going to change our deliverable, we're going to diversify, and we're going to hit some home runs, right? Well, in order to do that, we got to be ready. And here's what I'm going to suggest. Before you get into IT services, you have to know your cost to deliver the services that you're really good at. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, Ray, we know what our costs are to deliver print. We know what the toner costs. We know what the supplies or the parts cost. We got all that figured out. We figured all that out a long, long time ago. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I spent some time with Wes McCarter at NextEra. Remember that? I've had Wes McCarter from NextEra on the end of the day with Ray. Remember those episodes? Folks, there's not a whole lot of, there's some disturbing information inside that data. First call effectiveness, 50%. That's not good. Unaccounted for hours. Because techs, in the print business, we really never accounted for every hour tech work. We should be accounting for at least 85% of them, but we don't do that as a rule of thumb. The data proves it. So the question is, how in the world are you going to get into IT services and the complexities around IT services if you don't have the discipline to manage what you're damn good at? Here's the deal. There was so much money coming in from those printers that never broke. I mean, think about it. Industry made its money off what? The machines you didn't have to service. Had these big MIFs, collecting all those monies every month. Great stuff. That money, the profit from that service, allowed for a whole lot of bad management for a long, long time. Now, print's falling off a cliff. Customers are aware more than ever they don't need to be oversold and overspec'd A3s. They don't need to be continuously upgrading leases prematurely. They're going to put some pressure on that industry. Manufacturers have what? A whole bunch of equipment they hadn't sold. We've seen their finances, right? We've seen them. It's not good. 20% down. Not selling A3. Not selling the production like we thought. So what's going to happen once everything kind of opens up and gets back to normal? They're going to start jamming all this product out there at reduced prices. It's going to be a vendor auction from hell. Do you really want to participate in that in the spring and fall? No. You want to be diversified into IT. You want to be doing other things. So get your business in order now. You got to fix the cost for your core deliverable and get really tight and disciplined. Because when you get into IT services, you're going to need every bit of cash you can get. Every bit of cash you can get. And the way you're going to get that cash is by tightening up your costs and fixing things. And getting your first call effectiveness up to 80% or better. Making sure that your tech's hours are accounted for. You don't need to have 5 extra techs because you think something's going to happen. I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth. You need to look at your sales teams. Are they really producing? Do we need to make some adjustments? Folks, there's a whole lot of things that are going to happen over the next 6-7 months. There's a whole lot of things that we could have been doing over the last 11 months. But I continually hear about people trying to get into IT services, and it scares the living hell out of me. Because if you get into IT services with no discipline, it will be a train wreck. It's a train wreck, folks. It's so much more complicated than print. It's not about one device, some supplies, and a service call. It's complex technologies coming together. So anyway, that's enough of a rant, but I just want you all to pay attention. We got to control the cost. You got to do what you got to do to fix your cost on your core deliverable, because there's no more fat to make up for poor management. Something to think about as we move forward, because IT is the damn future, and I'm going to do everything I can to help the dealers get there. Because we all know this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.